Our brand new cycle of basic space lands is now available for purchase at www.itresolvesmtg.com. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to part 2 with this Izzet draw deck, submitted to us by Spinoraptor. Don't know how to say his name, but we really do appreciate the submission. It means a lot, and it's really great to be able to play a lot of user decks. We've had a number of submissions just this week alone. We've played, I think this is our 3rd user submitted deck out of the 4 that we have played, so that's pretty awesome. Really do recommend, if anybody would like to submit a deck, join our Discord. We've got a channel dedicated to it. It's a great way to kind of get involved with what we do, but also, you know, share your thoughts and your ideas. So hopefully you will take us up on that. The link is in the description if you're interested. Our frame rate is pretty bad with this. We're going to try and push through. The reason being, I'm just going to be very candid with everyone. I am slightly frustrated with trying to record this video. Okay, this is terrible. I can't do this. I'm sorry. Frame rate's terrible. I am slightly frustrated with trying to record this part 2 video. And I'm going to walk you through what actually happened. You may notice my hair is wet now. It's because I've had a shower to kind of cool off, get things, regroup a little bit. So I'm slightly frustrated. The reason being, the first time I recorded this video, we got through all 3 games. I think we did okay in terms of win-loss ratio. We didn't win all of them, but we did okay. And so I was like, yeah, you know, it's going well. Got to the summary of the deck, so we were at the last portion of playing this deck, and we were really getting very close to the end, literally like a couple steps away from the end of the video. And my computer decided that it would be a good idea to shut down an update in the middle of that, which, as it turns out, is very annoying. Because when you restart your computer after an update, if you were recording a video, chances are that video is going to be corrupted, as ours was. So that was really annoying, to be brutally honest. Very frustrating, but it is what it is. And so I moved on and decided, you know what, that's fine. Gonna take a shower, gonna regroup, and then I'm gonna take another stab at it. And so I did. So I set out to start recording another video. I did the intro, got into game 1, and we had a network error, and the game crashed. So this is attempt number 3 at trying to play this silly deck that was submitted to us by Raptor and is very fun, but very frustrating to record. So we're working on it. We're trying. Hopefully this one works. I'll just go ahead and say, though, this deck is very fun. I'm enjoying this one quite a lot. It's certainly not perfect. We see it struggle slightly against some particular decks, most often aggro decks, just because it does not have a way to really interact other than a couple neutralizes. And so it can be a little bit tricky. Niv-Mizzet does too, obviously, but it's a late game thing, so it's a little bit trickier to do that. Not sure why they're attacking here. That seems very useless, but you do you. Unfortunately, it's been a bit of a frustrating ride, but we're here, and we're going to do the best we can. I'm not going to attack. We're on defensive, 100%. Regardless, though, I do really like this deck, and again, Raptor, I do appreciate the submission here. It's been a fun one, for sure. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it actually works. Also want to mention another shout out. This might be the last time I talk about it, just because I feel like I've been talking about it quite a bit, but Proxy the Goat is a really good friend of ours, friend of the channel, and he very kindly has been working on our Discord. If you're not in our Discord, I highly recommend you check that out, because honestly, it's turning into a much better place than I think it's ever been, and it's really, really cool to see what he's doing with it. So I just want to point that out to you guys. If you're interested in checking it out, please do. It really is a cool. It's cool what he has done with it, is what I will say. And so he is the new moderator there. Obviously, I'm still in and out, so you know I'll still be chatting with everybody and hanging out. But he really is going to be the lead on all of that, and it's great to have him back on. He, if you if you were back in the, man, original days of It Resolves, literally, he was a part of It Resolves from a very early stage. Not the very beginning, but certainly an early part of it. And it was actually really exciting because he did Commander content, and still does Commander content, just not for our channel. And it's great to kind of bring him back in. He obviously kind of had his own endeavors, and so he's gone off and done some of that stuff. But it's great to have him back into a position where we can really, you know, capitalize on that relationship and hanging out with him, because he's really an awesome guy, and it's fun to hang out with him. Do we double block this? No, right? We don't. I think we just do this. We kind of want to keep this around. That's a big hit, which sucks, but I think we kind of want to keep that around. Let's do that. Let's do this, and we'll leave up Neutralize as a potential. We'll not block. We're going to leave up the Neutralize to see what we can hit with it. They may try and play Luris this turn if they've got a land, so I'd love to shut that down really, really quick if we can. Eventually we can get to Magic Mirror territory. I don't know if we'll get there quite in this game, but we're definitely going to try. We're going to Neutralize that. Just try and avoid extra damage if we can help it. Sure, that's fine. This deck does actually kind of beg a question, why didn't we do like a cycling version of this deck? And I think you can, but I really like this version of this list, that we get to capitalize on a lot of cool things. So I'm enjoying it. Hopefully you guys are. This is going to be a rough game though, no doubt. Yeah. Yep. Interesting to see what they do here. They've been pretty aggressive with their attacks, so I'm kind of interested to see if they do that again. If they do, I mean, obviously we have to block the Flourishing Fox. There's no doubt about that, but we've got kind of infinite blockers with these 1/1s. We could try and get rid of this, but I don't really think it's going to matter too much. Ooh, Royal Scions is quite good. Let's tap that. Let's play this out. Let's do this. Discard that. Get another counter on that. Get another 1/1. And again, we're not going to attack. We have to be defensive. This Stinger is a bit of a problem. We do kind of have to deal with that at some point. Niv-Mizzet would be pretty solid, though I guess we can't play Niv-Mizzet quite yet. We'll see. We will see. But eventually, I mean, this is going to get to be a pretty substantial problem if we can't deal with this in the next few cycles here. Oh, well, they just win. All right, fair enough. You got it. We actually did okay stabilizing on the board. I think it was... that deck is just unfortunately really annoying. I always hate the cycling deck. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people love it. It's just not my favorite. Let's go ahead and jump into game 2 and see what we can do. Hopefully we can get a win, at least one with this list. I really do enjoy this one when it works. It's a little tough to get it to work. That's not to say it's a bad deck though. Raptor, I do appreciate it. It's a fun one. It's a very fun one. So let's see what we're going to be up against. Hopefully we've got a decent starting hand. Also, out of curiosity. No, what am I trying to do here? Is that not? Oh, there we go. If I dim that light down, does that help a little? It's not bad. We still feel pretty whited out, but that's okay. My lighting setup is interesting, to say the least. We've got, like, I've rigged this whole setup. You'll notice we have a sheet here behind us now. That way there's no distracting crap on the wall, like terrible photos that I've taken and things like that, and a whiteboard that usually has something silly written on it. And so we've got the same lighting setup, so it's still like the orange light over here and the blue light here. And then I've got like a little, it's like this big, it's like a little tiny light that just sits up here, and it's like anchored to a little C-stand kind of thing. That's really funny. But it's, yeah, it works out. It's okay. You'll notice also we released a different kind of video today. It was the do's and don'ts of getting someone involved in Magic, since we're waiting for this person to do anything. And that was actually a really fun video to make, to be honest. That was really cool. It's a little bit different, something, you know, that it's a little out of the norm for what we normally do, but I do think it was worth doing. It's a fun video, and I think it's an important thing to keep in mind. And so that's why I did it. I also had an experience with my fiance that kind of spurred that on. Excuse me. And so I do think it's, you know, it's great to be able to share this game and do it in such a way that actually does get people interested. But I think too often a lot of people, you know, want to get people involved, but don't necessarily know the right way to ease somebody into it. Instead of kind of forcing it on them, like you can do this and this and this and this, and it's like, okay, overwhelming. Let's take a step back here. I think that's pretty important, and so that's where that video kind of came from. And I do hope that, you know, some of you guys found it helpful, especially if you are in that position of you've got somebody who's interested, but you don't know really where to start, or you know, you've got a million cool things in your head that you want them to be able to do, but you can't just jump there. There's a step-by-step process that needs to happen, unfortunately, and so sometimes that just requires you to be a bit patient, and that's all. But I think it's very, very crucial that we do that as players of the game. I think that's very important. Don't love this, but we're gonna do it. Let's discard Thrill. If we can get the 8/8 down, we might be okay, but chances are they're going to fight through pretty quickly. So, like, for instance, we can play the Buccaneer. Hopefully, if we draw a red land, we can, but chances are they've got plenty of stuff that will be able to deal with it. And this, in particular, Questing Beast, is definitely a bit of a problem here. In fact, a major problem. Definitely not going to need that. Go ahead and opt. But unfortunately, I think this is it. Trying to think what we could draw here. Probably nothing. If they just have a haster, they don't even need a haster, right? They just need a red land, and they could do it. Okay, yeah, that's got it. All right, well, those are two pretty quick games. Let's go into our last game here and see if we can make it happen. I will say I've had a bit more experience with this deck than I normally do, given that we did play test it before playing the videos, but also obviously recording a little extra. And so I've actually played this deck a good bit, and the win rate is not amazing. But it is a fun list. I still really like it, so I'm glad that it was suggested for us. This is a little tricky because these two cards are just not going to be playable for a while. But given a blue land, we have Neutralize up. I'm going to try. It is a bit of a sketchy keep. But hey, you know, we're here to have fun and just kind of try new decks, so that's okay. And hey, they mulligan, so we have a shot. See what they do. Honestly, I'm just and please don't take offense to this turn 1 Soul Ring, but it's nice to play, you know, some different user submitted decks. Turn 1 Soul Ring, not to you know, hit you with anything by any means, because obviously it's great that you've submitted so many decks, and we certainly do appreciate it. It means a lot, but it's great to try something a little bit different from a different user and just see how it goes, you know? It's cool. We'll put that on the bottom. That Thought Scour, or Thought Erasure, I always say Thought Scour, unfortunately really hits hard, but this is a Grixis control list, it looks like, so we're going to have issues, no doubt. They're going to have creature removal for pretty much everything that we do. But we pass, and we have Neutralize up. Seriously? Let's just hit him with the Neutralize now. Yep. Oh, that's not terrible. Let's just go ahead and opt now. Yeah, we'll keep that on top. We kind of want some counters. If they've got a 4th Thought Erasure right now, I'm going to be very frustrated. Okay, good. Let's do this. Yeah, actually, that's great. And here we get to pass and kind of do everything on their turn, which is a really nice place to be with all these instants. Hopefully they don't run too many counters. Usually Grixis lists do not run too many, but, you know, it's worth being very cautious over that kind of thing. Land is good. However, we're not going to just straight up Niv here. We're going to play a bit cautiously, put the Nadir Kraken out, and then be able to neutralize whatever removal spell I'm assuming they've got. So that way they double up on this instead of hitting the Niv. If they've got a counter spell, that's going to be annoying. Yeah, I'm just going to counter this. Counter the counter. Chances are they've still got a removal spell for this, but again, we're just burning cards. We're making them use it. They've got 3 cards in hand. We've got the tools at least to draw quite a few. And so that's pretty good for us. We'll just do this. That's fine. Let's attack and see what they do. Okay. Then we're just going to pass with Chemister's Insight up. Fortunately, this deck isn't doing too much. Niv-Mizzet is definitely a card we want to get down, but again, they're going to have a counter or a removal spell. And I'm assuming they're waiting to use it on that, because Nadir Kraken, while good, they could just sweep and kind of get rid of everything, which they very well might do. Thankfully, we have outs to at least, like if they have a Storm's Wrath, for instance, we've got outs for that, but let's do this now. This is going to give us enough counters on this, and we get to get another one of these guys. So let's do that. It's not bad. Again, we're holding back the Niv. As much as I would love to play it, it's not really what we need to do at the moment. Sure. Let's just drop another one of these out, just so we've got 2. They're kind of on the same cycle, which is a little bad, but, you know, worse things have happened. Let's just attack all. It's a big swing. Yeah, you got it. So maybe they have a bounce for this. We get to wait. But again, we're playing a bit cautiously here. These Grixis control lists, man, they are bonkers good. Ashiok. How much do I care about Ashiok? It's a good card. They get to bounce this, but we're gonna Chemister's Insight here, I think. Oh, they didn't bounce that. Oops. Let's discard the Thrill. Get a bunch of counters. We're just trying to get ourselves in a point where we're well set up against whatever they do. So here we can just give this 8/8 trample. I mean, that seems good. Oops. And we just attack them. Please don't have a 1 mana way to kill it. Okay, cool. Alright, so we did get there with that one. Kind of a tricky play pattern against a Grixis list, because you do, I think it's right to hold back the Niv-Mizzet. Certainly we could have potentially finished the game off sooner, but I think it was right to kind of hold back there just in case. You need a backup plan against those decks, because holy crap, do they have answers. To summarize the deck, first of all, thank you, Raptor, again, for submitting. Anybody that's wanting to, please feel free to join the Discord. There's a channel there for you. We really would appreciate it. Lots of new decks coming, too, from different users, so looking forward to those. As far as this deck goes, though, I like it. It's fun. I don't really think it's definitely not like a tier 1 deck by any means. It's not to say it's a bad deck either. It certainly is a fun one. And when it goes off, it feels amazing just because you've got such good synergy in this list that, like, you draw one card and all of a sudden you're valuing, 3 points of damage off of your Buccaneers and Niv. Some of that can be targeted off of the Niv-Mizzet. You can target anything with it, so you can hit planeswalkers, creatures, or the opponent. Every time you draw, you get a counter on Ominous Seas, which hopefully means you can get an 8/8. Like, there is so much. Oh, every time you discard a card with Rielle, of course, you get to draw that many cards. So a Cathartic Reunion, instead of discard 2, draw 3, is discard 2, draw 5. Like, for 2 mana, that is insane value. I mean, really insane. So I really like the value that this list can provide. Do I think it's the best list? No, probably not, but it's very, very fun. If you've got the cards or if you have the extra wild cards, I think this is a fun one to try, but be aware it suffers, or at least it needs to be tooled against the aggro decks out there. Unfortunately, it just kind of loses against aggro decks. You just do not have the sweepers or the tools to kind of deal with them. I think that's very easily fixed. I think you can throw in some Storm's Wrath or some Flame Sweeps or, something along those lines to kind of help you get there. But it's very, very tricky. You do have to be very cautious with how many cards you take out that are focused on this plan. I do think that there are some easy cases for cards that you can take out, but just be aware of that. So very much appreciate the deck again, Raptor. Thank you very much. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you did, of course, feel free to leave a like or a comment down below. And as always, make sure to subscribe if you are not already. Make sure to enter the Core 2021 giveaway. Also, that's coming up very, very soon on July 6th. We will be picking our winner. So thanks a lot, guys. I will see you hopefully very soon in the next gameplay video.